You ever wish you were made of metal instead? It's been 4 months since the last devlog, and I know it's been a bit of a long time, but I made a lot of progress. I haven't put out a video till now, um, mainly because it always feels like there's always one more thing I want to add, and so that I want to put in the game before I show it off. And I guess it's been 4 months of one more thing, and so there's quite a lot of things that have been added. Um, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Um, I recently would say I added one of the most significant new features to the game. Might be one of the most significant new features there's going to be. Well, who knows? Um, so I decided it was time to finally put out a new video on um, the progress I've made. So, because it's been quite a while, let's review where we were last time. First of all, this game project started um, in March 25th of 2020. Well, that's when I started making the game as it is now in Game Maker. I started making this version of the game. So that's been over a year. That's January, February, March. So it's been like a year and 3 months or something. Um, I would have probably liked to have put out a video on the 1 year anniversary, but obviously I was too busy adding new stuff. Um, so most of the core features are in the game. We have movement, combat, items, leveling up, partners, we have generated structures, we have trading and butchering. Trading and butchering were things I covered in the last video. So now that we know where we've been, it's time to get on to what's new. So one of the first new features I want to show off, it's really little thing. It's just I added music to the game. It's a little thing, but I got some royalty-free public domain music that's actually quite good. Um, so hopefully when the game comes out by the end, is an alpha comes out by the end of the year, you'll be able to won't have to be playing in silence. I think that definitely adds some atmosphere to the game. So one of the first new features, one that's really impossible not to notice, is the addition of character customization. So you can get a random name, because honestly typing is a bit of a pain. So I like just mashing this button until I get a name that I like. And so the class selections now, you can select through here. I can be a nudist, I can be a cowboy, I can be a swordsman. And some classes have subclasses that are accessible here, and some don't. Additionally, you can now play as any of the other races. There are more species. Obviously, you can be a human, you can be a horse, you can be one of the bipedal cats. So any type of creature that's been implemented in the game is playable. You'll notice I changed the swamp mop to a bit because I want to add various mutant creatures, which I'll get into later. I just added some robots, which you'll see. Suicide robot, and a wild robot, and I also added some new creatures, some new types of creatures that I'll get into later. But for now, we're just gonna go with a human. And I added a new class, the mech artist, who is allied with the barbarians, and he's got some new features. But okay, so what we have here is we have completely customizable characters. You used to be that your character's sprite used to be completely determined by their class. And so certain types of armor wouldn't fit. But as you can see, the armor he's wearing changes to fit whatever body type. So this is the body type that was used for the scientist. And this is just an average one. There was a short one that was for cowboys, swordsmen. And then I also added a burly body type. So there's 4 unique body types. We have various skin tones. Some of them are a bit more exotic, I would say. I mean, also quite a few different hairstyles, which was a lot of fun to implement. Again, the hairstyles are gonna change a bit based on fitting different body types and different hair colors. So it's a lot of fun. You can certainly have fun making your character look unique. You can change their eyes. But this was a lot of fun. And so you'll also encounter, this only applies to humans, but you'll definitely encounter human enemies who are customized. And so, so the character customization is the first new feature. So, what's unique about the mech artist is that he has an important item. What he can do is he can place this item and he can create a suicide robot. And as you can see, that suicide robot is allied to me, and he's gonna go off and blow himself up, killing off the enemy. And he probably killed off some friends too. So, that's what I wanted to add. The scientist also has a robot that he can do, and I think that makes it a bit fun because these are supposed to be a bit more technical classes, not quite so combat oriented. So they've got some unique features. Additionally, as you'll notice, this is a little sneak peek on a new feature is we go back. You can see that his body parts are gray, mine are red. This is because my body parts are made of flesh and blood, but his are made of metal because he's a robot. And that also means if I butcher him, well, first of all, butchering and these actions are no longer tied to this interact button. The interact button is basically vestigial at this point, or vestigial, I'm not really sure. It doesn't do anything. So instead of that, I have these buttons on the side, which do context-sensitive actions. This is convenient because you don't have to click the interact button and guess what to do. You'll always have these based on context. And so if I butcher this guy, obviously I don't get bones, I don't get brains or meat or blood. I get these different metal parts. See, this is like a robot brain, some metal gears, and some plates and bars. And additionally, okay, here's one of my layer rover. This one he's aligned with cowboys and settlers, and they're also carried by the scientists. And if I butcher him, also get more of these metal parts. There's another guy. So if I really wanted to get lots of metal, I can kill that guy off. And so I'm going to pick up some metal scraps, and I'm going to show off something pretty important. So you remember that lanterns could be bought in the previous version, but they couldn't really be used. So right here we have big blood lanterns, and I could also go off and place a small little lantern out here. And they have the same functionality. And so they have quite a lot of stuff. So one of the first things you'll notice is I have some contextual actions that are tied to this lantern. I can sleep on it like a bed, which I don't know if it looks very comfortable, but you can. And then you can also store items. So unfortunately you can't drop items yet, but you can transfer items to and from the lanterns. And because all lanterns are connected through a network, any items that are stored in the lanterns can be retrieved from any other lantern. I'm going to store a few of these guys in here just to show how that works. And that's important because you can reduce your carrying weight by that. This tells me how much is being in there. So if I rest at this lantern, I get a few other things. So first of all, I can teleport. If I click this teleport button, I can click right here and I can teleport to the other lantern. sorry about all the black on here. So there's a bit of an error with the bit of a glitch with the map generation where we're stuck on the highest level becomes black, so it's just kind of ugly. I'm kind of sorry about that. So I can teleport back here, and that was because I rested at this lantern. Well, because I spawned at this lantern, it is just warp, so I can travel back and forth, and I can achieve this from anywhere. I'm gonna warp back to this one, and so some other features. I can level up here. I don't have any experience points, but you see the level up menu has been improved. And I just want you to notice there, you probably aren't going to notice this, but there are less abilities than before. There used to be 8. We had strength, dex, agility, vitality, endurance, and charisma, and wisdom. So I got rid of wisdom and agility. First of all, because agility determined your speed, it became one of the most important stats. And so I decided I wanted your movement speed to be determined by your carrying percentage, similar to Dark Souls, and by your body parts. I felt like if you could level up agility indefinitely, it became kind of overpowered. It became like so powerful that it was the only thing you want to spend on. And I also got rid of wisdom because having 3 mental stats, I couldn't really make it so that they were unique and didn't overlap. And so I felt like reducing it to 6 kind of primary stats makes the game make more sense. Inch doesn't do anything yet, but I was able to implement use for charisma, which I'll show you soon. But so this is probably the most significant new feature in the game. What is this video called? Lanterns and materials. So obviously we have lanterns out here, and this is the most significant new feature. So all of these items, metal items, can be synthesized into iron. So if I crush this, I get 200 units of iron. You see there's 4 materials in the game. There's flesh and blood, which you get from butchering animals. So items like bones, blood, meat, brains, all can be converted to flesh. And obviously metal gets converted to metal. And mutant body parts become mutagen. And I might get some of that soon. And additionally, there's another kind of metal, orichalcum, which is a bit more rare. So as you can see, if I can crush all this into metal material, and one thing I can do is I can spend 50 of that to make a lantern. And all of this stuff will cost more flesh and blood, which I don't have any stored. I can get one of these. And as you can see, if I wanted to level up any of these body parts, each one would cost 200 of this. And so, because I don't have any of that, what I can do is I can convert it to being a metal leg. And then I can level up these legs. And let's save some of this, and I think I'll get myself a metal head too. And that expends all the metal, most of the iron that I have. And so now I've leveled up these body parts, and I've changed them to metal. So what exactly does that do? Oh, one thing I should probably address is when I teleport, my character is in this kind of invulnerable ghostly state where they can't be targeted. So this was also to prevent you from getting swarmed when you respawn. Because, I got rid of... so respawning, when you die, you return to your last lantern rest at, which is that I no longer have limited respawns based on stars. I wanted you to be able to respawn as much as you wanted. I kind of decided permadeath wasn't the direction I wanted to take. Anyhow, that's an explanation of that. So what does iron do? How is that different? Well, maybe if I get into a fight, I can explain that. But one thing to address is, just like in the last game, in the last one, I believe I addressed that when a body part is destroyed, it levels down, and so now you can level them back up. But so leveling up body parts will change value of various body attributes. So because I leveled up my head, I have extra perception, which changes my sight range, and upgrading my legs affects my agility. So I have 133% agility. And so that's what's going to actually determine my speed. It's just determined by my legs. Additionally, if my legs get injured, this number reduces. So instead, initially, in the previous game, what I had was body part health level affected these abilities. I decided I didn't like that. That didn't make sense. So they affect these unique body attributes. So that's what I call them. Also, you notice this is my equip load, my inventory load, and my speed. My speed is going to be affected by these values, and my agility. And I also have how many friends I have. So my charisma affects how many friends I can have. If I have 10 charisma, I can have 2 friends. However, robots, because this robot just blows himself up, he only counts as half a friend. So take that as you will. I can switch between this and this by clicking. Okay, so now that I've taken a bit of damage, you notice that, of course, fire reduces all my body parts. As you can see, so there's this little gray area. My flesh and blood body parts are set to recharge after this. But my iron body parts don't. So that's a significant difference. Is that so iron body parts don't recharge health. However, iron body parts have more health than I can curse these to iron also. They have more health than other types of than flesh and blood body parts. So see if I can convert my arm into an iron one, it goes from having 14 max health to 28. So that's a pretty big difference. But also because iron body parts don't regenerate on their own, I can go here and I have to spend 14 iron to bring the health back up. And yeah, so I can't heal these here, but I should heal automatically if I rest a bit. Okay, so I've come across some of these mutant creatures. They're all dead. They're green. You can't really tell because they turn red when they're dead. But as you can see, they have mutant body parts. So if I butcher them, I'll get myself some of these green guys. I'll butcher one of these guys too. I'll butcher this guy too. These body parts, let's see if I can get away with this. So what's unique about mutagen body parts is if I use mutagen to convert one of these body parts into a mutant, say mutant arm, let's make this arm mutant arm. They have less health than they otherwise would. They're actually far reduced health. However, mutant body parts regenerate faster. So less health but faster regeneration. Oh gee, he didn't really do a good job. Okay, let's try to escape this explosion. So, and as I'm sure you've noticed already, this right here guy he's a new sort of enemy. He's a Teraphim Butcher. So Teraphim, it was the, I believe, Hebrew word for idol. So what these guys are, they're basically robots. What makes them different than the other robots is that they're made out of this gold-colored material called orichalcum, which, if you know, is one of a mythical metal. I don't exactly remember where. And so, like iron, they don't regenerate. However, so it functions very similar to iron, but it has even more health. So, gee whiz. I guess I gotta place a new lantern because that one got screwed up. So also butchering him got me some orichalcum parts. This is a terraform brain and some orichalcum gears, plates and bars. And I also have some of these items. This right here is just juice. It doesn't do anything. And these items are not used yet. So this is right here is going to be upgrade a putty. The intent is you'll be able to use it kind of like Titanite from Dark Souls to upgrade. And this right here is repair putty, which will be used to repair items, which also hasn't been implemented yet. And so after killing that guy, I can crush this stuff to get some orichalcum. As you see, it's stored up here. And I can give myself an orichalcum head, which is going to have much more health. And that's the main advantage. It's not the advantage, it doesn't have any other advantages yet. So right over here, here are some friendly terraforms. So they're also guys made of orichalcum, but they're like basically walking vending machines. So for some reason or another, they're pretty friendly to everyone, regardless of allegiance. And they just buy and sell. So I could sell some of this junk that I picked up to him, and I can buy various items. So I could buy some materials that just for synthesis. I could buy a few more lanterns. I'll buy a ton. I could buy a chainsaw. I can buy some more syringes to heal myself. I can really buy whatever I want. Hey, well, obviously don't have a lot of the same items as other people. And so, but I also notice after buying all that stuff, I'm very loaded down, so my movement is a bit slower. So what I want to do is I want to place down one of these lanterns, and I'm going to store, I don't need 20 lanterns, so I'm going to transfer most of them over here. Whoops. I'm going to transfer most of them in. I'm going to, that's probably good, and I'm going to synthesize that other stuff. So one feature that might help me find some more of these creatures that I want to show off is the map. So the map has some additions. So it has, you can switch basically your display type here. And right here I'm looking at my previous warp points. That's the one I used, and these are other ones I could warp to. Here is showing some human landmarks, and here is showing physical landmarks. And right here is an important one. I can use this to create little waypoints. So I click over here, I've created a red waypoint. I leave the map. I now have this little compass in the corner that tells me what way to go. So I know that I'm actually heading off in a direction where there isn't really much of anything. So I'm going to try to head over there and see if I find anything more useful. I might be getting close to danger. I'm going to try to recruit a friend real quick. I'm going to press this little button. I'm going to give him lots of this hard-earned money, and he's going to follow along. And as you can see, now he takes one of my spots. If I recruit too many people, I can't recruit anymore. And so we're going to head off and see if we can find some danger along the way. Okay, so I think we're pretty close to seeing some of these new and scary monsters. Yes, I'm going to put down a lantern just so that I don't backtrack too much, and I'm going to retrieve. Oh, another feature, I can click this, and I can bring my ally over. Now he's with me. And so one important thing is that allies share your war points, and allies will respawn when killed at the last lantern. However, they'll lose a lot of loyalty if they die. It looks like he's about to die. So you're going to spend lots of money if you want to keep regenerating. So here's some of the scarier new enemies. This guy's a terraform baby. He's pretty small. Here's a sentinel, and these guys are a bit powerful. So you can see. Okay, so one feature I want to make. Oh my gosh, is that they also have this. You can see how much time they have to act, which can be useful. So now I can see in 1.2 seconds he's going to start charging, and now in 1.7 seconds he's going to start attacking. So you can see. So normally when enemies are charge attack, you can interrupt it while shooting. But these guys, they flash blue. And flashing blue means their attack's armored. It can't be interrupted. So I'm going to jump out of the way. And he shoots this big wave of multiple... Yeah, I'll have it on screen. Trust me, that is cool. So these guys all shoot exploding lasers. And they shoot them quite rapidly. So they're pretty similar to the Galarian monsters lasers, except they shoot them in large bursts. These babies shoot them in a spread, and Sentinels shoot them more rapid fire in a line. We can kill them off. Oh, I think that. Yikes. I'm getting shot, Mullins. And I'm going to jump in the hole and see what we can do. I'm going to see if I can. These guys have much higher health than the other enemies, but they're still being destroyed. But they're also carrying money, so something to think about. Why are these guys carrying money, huh? So that's it when it comes to the new features. So what's next? So one of my New Year's resolution has been to release a playable alpha of the game by the end of the year. And so we're 6 months into the year, so that gives me 6 more months. Yeah, you might be asking, well, why don't I just release one now? Well, I definitely want the game to be presentable. I want a game that I certainly don't want to put on alpha until I feel like it's really worth playing. So what is between now? What steps are between now and me feeling like I'm ready to release a playable version for everyone to play and try out? What I would want, one of the big things and things I touched on in earlier videos was I still need weapon degradation and repairing. So obviously your armor takes damage when you're hit, but that damage doesn't it can't be recovered. And so I want to say you can use repair Putty to repair it. I also want your weapons to degrade and take damage from use. And I want you to be able to upgrade your items just like you can upgrade your body parts. That's probably going to be using the Putty items that you can get from these guys, or you might be able to get them from treasure chests. So yeah, and additionally being able to craft items would be nice. That's not a big of a deal. But yeah, just repairing and upgrading and having items degrade, that's really essential. One other thing, I'd like to improve the performance. The performance is pretty good on a computer. Like, let's see if I show the FPS. It's running pretty close to 60 frames per second. But I also have an Android version, and I like to play. I like to have something to play when I'm on the toilet, you know? It's like, so that's part of my reason for wanting to make any games for Android. Is want to have something fun to play. And it runs very slowly on Android because it's less powerful. So I want to, initially also the frame rate drops when lots of actions are being done, when there's lots of AI trying to do pathfinding. And so if I can just do various things to improve performance, get it to run better on phone, and get it to have less drops, that'd be nice. It's not a huge deal because it is a roguelike. It doesn't need to be real time. But I do want the game to be fun to play on Android at least. I do have a few optimizations in mind that I haven't gotten around to doing yet. Additionally, let's take a look at this guy. So, never mind. I also want to set implement all status effects and items. So, there's some items that I've added to the game, like obviously like the putties that aren't used for anything yet, and there's certain status effects, especially like so if you're the magician, like um, electric status effect and something that needs to be implemented. Um, and I just want to balance all classes and weapons better. I feel like not all the classes are equally strong. Not all of them are equally diverse. Not all of them have enough versatility. And so I think all of them they need to be balanced so all the classes feel good to play. Um, and I want to give every allegiance its own town and enough classes. Obviously, for example, as a if you play as a Royal Trooper, because there's no Royal Trooper towns you just spawn in the middle of the map, and they don't have any other classes allied with them. While on the other hand, if you spawn as a um, scientist, where are they? Oop, wrong thing. If you spawn as a scientist, you will have lots of friends. You'll be allied with other scientists. You'll be allied with cowboys, and you'll be allied with the cavalry soldiers, and you'll have very developed towns. So obviously, I want more. I want the play experience to be a bit more equal for different classes picked. And I just want to implement all buttons. Like I want to get rid of this button doesn't do anything. I want to make this button do something. What this button's supposed to do is you go through different targets in the same space, so you can target the block, you can target multiple corpses that are stacked. And also, okay, not only buttons do anything. There's no character status. I wanted to see this, be able to see all your stats in a big screen. This right here is supposed to give you details on your targeted creature that doesn't do anything yet. And oh yeah, I also need a messages system that has messages for what's going on, so that's gotta do something. And I'd also like to have a tutorial. I like to have some sort of tutorial. I think the game can be kind of confusing. After those things, I'd say that would be enough where I feel like I would want to release an alpha. And so further beyond what I would say is necessary for a truly playable game for everyone, I have some other plans for the future. One thing I want to add a sort of zones system where you can have kind of underground or other dimensional zones. So if you go into a dungeon, it's not just you don't just dig down and go to it. It's kind of stored in a separate area. You would and so certain towns or buildings could kind of be stored in these zones, so that if you have a little hatch here, you can go into this little bunker or something, and so that it doesn't take up space in the overworld. Especially because part of my reason for doing that is that navigating in here can be kind of a pain, obviously because of healing and stuff. So if I can create these kind of zones that kind of just put them in the middle of empty space, and have them kind of follow the rules, that would work better than indoor areas here. The game functions well in the overworld, but having some sort of zones that are kind of they're either underground or you teleport to that function differently, you might be able to get indoor areas to work better. So that's a big one. It would allow me to also have some like linear dungeons that are more traditional, that have treasure at the end that you can just enter through a little hatch in the ground and kind of teleport to this little dungeon. I think that'd be really cool. It's not essential for the game to be playable. It's just it's something that I think what I want in the game. I want to be able to have dungeons. So that's for the future. And I also want to improve another future thing beyond it is improve world generation. I want to have biomes. Right now, when you look at the map, it's kind of all the same. That's probably the way the map is, but it's kind of the world's kind of homogenous, and I kind of want to have kind of a more patchwork world with biomes, and maybe even kind of divide different allegiance by biome. So if you go to a more swampy area, maybe that's where the magicians live. Maybe a more stony area, that's where the barbarians live, and so on. And I think that would be creating a more interesting world. Is big. I would want to have either toxic rivers or more give the world a more unique geography, and also obviously not have this harsh edge. So those are big. I've obviously got lots of stuff for the future. I have probably more ideas for this, more stuff for the future than I actually have stuff in the present for the game. Um, but yeah, hope you're impressed by all the stuff that I've added. I think it's a lot of it's pretty cool, and I hope you're gonna look forward to being able to play the game. Yeah, there's just a few things on the road, a few steps to take, and then we'll be there. And so I hope you're excited. Thank you.